All right. Let me get situated here. Craig Kenworthy,
Oh, here.
Brian Wiseman,
Here.
Carl English,
Here.
Robert Durantz,
Here.
Tony Downing.
Here.
That mean everybody's here? All right. Did we get a set of minutes this time around?
We have
Yes.
Marches and we have
Should
February's
be,
that are
Okay.
requested.
should be
Well-
February's and March's in there.
All right. Well, since my mind won't get that deep, does anybody remember what we did in February?
But I'm sure it's fine.
I will entertain a motion for the February minutes, please.
I will motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Carl and Brian, does anybody have any issues or questions or concerns? You all good? Good, good.
All right.
Jake?
Craig Kenworthy,
Yep.
Brian Wiseman,
Yes.
Carl English. Yes. Robert Durantz,
Yes.
Tony Downing.
Yes.
All right, we have marches here. It's a little easier. Anybody, I will entertain a motion to accept these minutes.
I'll motion to accept the minutes
Tony?
from February 2nd and March 2nd.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Bob? Do anybody have any questions or concerns? Jake, you're up.
Craig Kenworthy,
Yep.
Brian Wiseman,
Yes.
Carl English. Yes. Robert Durantz,
Yes.
Tony Downing.
Yes.
All right. That brings us to Mr. Hollenbeck.
Brevity is a virtue, I will be brief. The one thing I want to share with you is in the context of our leasing of our land to the farmers, I've had some discussions with a couple of them. Our land is pretty popular in terms of farming it, and a couple of them are involved in a couple different places where this is done. And they had some suggestions as to how we go about the task of dividing up the land, and I'm going to give those some more additional thought and talk to a couple of people. So here for next year, we may do some tweaking of the process that we had used to allocate the farmland. So just be cognizant of that. Nothing real big. Certainly everything we have done along the way has been certainly legal and appropriate, but if we can do it better and in a sense maybe fairer, then I want to emphasize that and promote that as a recommendation to you. So before we're ready to do it for next year, in other words, here in the fall of this year, I will bring a recommendation to you that's based on input from the people who are actually doing it for us. And the only other thing I have to say is I am working on a couple of matters with the staff involving programming implementation for the summer that I owe them some stuff on, and I need to get that done. I'm going to try to do it this weekend. But other than that, that's all I have unless you have some questions. I might even have an answer.
Well, nothing else, we can roll a coin. Anybody got any questions for Mr. Hollenbeck?
I do not.
Brevity was good, we paid you by the,
I'm going to alert you that I have church obligations at 7 o'clock, and that includes my wife. So I got to be there at 7 or I'm in trouble.
I was gonna pay you by the word, but not now. Okay. Jake, staff report.
Alrighty, I will start the staff report. I will just jump in with some of the proposals that I've got. The first one is I would like to request permission from the board to begin the Land Water Conservation Fund's grant application for restrooms at Sunset Hill. The timeline for that is about 1 year to 16 months out, so in order to have a possible project slated for 2024 to happen, late 2024, early 2025, I have to have an application submitted and into the state for review by June 1st of this year. So I would like permission to start that process.
Do we have a motion to allow him to start that process?
I will motion to allow him to start that process.
Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. Does anybody have any discussions or questions for Jake concerning that?
Jake, can you remind us where those toilets are intended to go?
So the intent is for one to go up where in the location, the general location of where the existing closed restroom is, up by the IGRS train display. They put one up there by that trailhead, that train display.
Would that be a two-toilet?
Yes. So that would be a two toilet. And they are fully ADA accessible. They are fully compliant.
And these are vault pit toilets?
Yes. So these are, my preference is for the vault toilets due to the ease of maintenance and the lack of infrastructure needs, and the fact that they can be cleaned with a power washer and some elbow grease. Fewer things can go wrong on them. And then the second one is to replace the privy in the campground, just to get that out of there and get a modern vault toilet out of the campground.
Is that a single or double as
I
well?
would make that a double.
Double as well?
Is this a matching grant or is it a,
This would be a 50% match grant, so it would be 50% reimbursed. So if the total project cost $100,000, our actual hit would only be $50,000.
okay, all right.
Is that what you project it could cost?
Just a number.
Yeah, it's just a general number right now. I still gotta run some more numbers. I do have some numbers on the toilets themselves. They run about $26,000 a piece, but that's not installed, so I still got some more figuring to do. So it may be under, it may be over. It's just,
General number.
Sounds good.
Tony, any questions?
I have no questions.
You have no questions. Anybody else? Jake?
all
you're up.
right. Craig Kinley,
Yes, go ahead.
Brian Wiseman,
Yes.
Carl English,
Yes, please.
Robert Durance,
Yes.
Tony Donning.
Yes.
The kinder Kento.
So my second proposal is a general fund transfer request. I am requesting to move $22,995 from our building and structures account to 454 other equipment, and that is to cover the cost of the playground that is slated to go in on the 17th.
And this is a temporary playground. So we need to make a motion and then discuss?
Yes, let's do that, let's try.
All right. I motion that we agree to the transfer.
Have a second.
I'll second it.
We got 14
Okay.
seconds.
Okay, well, now we can discuss.
Okay.
Questions are free.
Again, this is to replace the playground quickly.
Yes.
That was noted by Autumn Miller in our previous meeting in March, that it was deemed unsafe, and then seconded by another member of the public. So, yeah, I think it's necessary to get that done and done quickly.
Yeah, so this is to replace the publicly condemned playground from the previous
Publicly
meeting.
Let's just say the
Old.
old. Let's just leave it at that. Anybody got any other questions for Jake? And this is the one we are going to move, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yep, yep.
So, all right, well, call the roll.
All right. Craig Kinley,
Yep.
Brian Wiseman,
Yep.
Carl English,
Yes.
Robert Durance,
Yes.
Tony Donning.
Yes.
And I added another proposal with the grant, so this is my third of four proposals. I am requesting permission to propose building of a 16 by 20 pavilion-style shelter at Sunset Hill Farm. And then attached is a kind of a dimensional drawing, a dimensional picture of it, as well as overhead view on a map of where, generalized the location's gonna go, wherever it's highest, flattest,
Highest, flattest.
and driest is gonna be the ultimate location.
Where is the general picture? Which one
It's
is
on the
it?
backside.
There's one more.
You need this one?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the general, just a bird's eye view of the whole, of that area of the park. And then the second one is just a rough, it's gonna be here with a sidewalk, so it's ADA compliant, those kinds of things.
And then I do have quotes for a cement pad and sidewalk as well in there. So I don't, if we don't do something underneath the shelter, it'll be a wet mess.
Are they adding aggregate to this as well? So it'll be a concrete pad?
Yes, it'll be a
I
stone.
just being a smart ass, I'm sorry.
It'll be a crushed rock foundation and poured concrete afterwards.
Sorry.
So it's not a
Generally,
moment.
that's where you would normally put your, like, that big white tent, like when you have in that general area there. There used to be like a big white tent that used to be set up to the east of the Horton Center.
Horton Center?
I couldn't
Kind
tell you
of.
on that one. I know we put all the big tents up for camp, and those typically go behind the NIPA barns.
Yeah,
I
a few
think.
times I've been up there and they're.
No, we put it up for weddings before several times.
Okay, okay.
So this pavilion could be used for anything?
Yeah, it would be an open air shelter.
Yeah.
He's
Go
got
along
a-
with them.
Okay, here's the devil, or whatever you want to call it. That's the area NIPA uses for their,
Yeah, so we are, yeah, I
have you
am.
spoke to them at all?
No, I have not.
Okay. Is there any way, I have no problem doing this, and I have no problem where you're placing it, pretty much. But as good stewards and stakeholders and everybody, if we don't need to put it that far out in the middle, maybe we move it back a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly.
I think we
room
need to
work
be a
with
little
location.
cognizant of probably our best renter who's.
Yes,
kinda-
well, for sure, again, this
And I
is
know that's
just
a-
generalization.
It is a very but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
before we get too deep into this pond, let's.
Before we dig stakes.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's make
before
sure
before we
that-
break ground.
Yeah, that we have people who are stakeholders out there, as they like to call them, where we put our stakes, our stakeholders like them, so.
Yeah,
Because I know they use some of this area over in here for when they have their displays for
Yeah, they use a
fancy
good chunk of
tractors
that
or
area for.
Tractor of the
when we
year.
do the show.
One less structure they have to set up for their stuff.
And that's true, and so maybe, please.
Yeah, we'll certainly have those conversations,
Thank you.
yeah, that way. We don't want to intrude on
We're
you
gonna
guys' budgets,
intrude,
right?
we don't want to intrude too bad.
I was out there this afternoon, there are white stakes in the ground out there. What is those, is that a marking of
That
utilities
was,
or
yeah,
just
that
a
was the
general
general,
walk?
that was the general kind of like size footprint of what
Okay,
it was gonna look like.
that's what I thought it
Yeah,
was.
'cause we-
Okay.
I did go ahead and call in 811 locate, just to make sure we didn't,
Okay,
It's got a meeting
if this does go
tonight,
in.
Next week.
Next week, okay.
Are you leaving out, or?
Yeah, yeah, I can,
Yeah, we have, our director's meeting is next.
okay. I had meant to be at the last one, my wife ended up going to the hospital, so I had to miss it. But I will be at the next one, I promise.
excuse.
If you leave the stakes out, or, some directors,
Okay, awesome.
sounds like it's
It'd be nice,
Yeah.
let's put stuff under it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you looking for a motion? Is that what you're looking for, to move
Yes,
forward this construction with this pavilion?
yeah,
And to purchase the materials to construct said pavilion?
yep,
And to hire said concrete contractor?
yeah.
Do you have a concrete contractor picked?
We have two quotes, based on the price difference, yes.
Yes.
Which concrete contractor are you recommending?
Caves.
Which one's that?
The one that labeled us wrong, yeah, Caves Concrete.
Caves Concrete.
Okay,
They labeled us Town of Porter, so I gotta fix that, but.
okay,
Considerable difference.
yes, there is. All right, now, to do this correctly, we have to hit all those points on a motion.
So moved.
You gotta hit all the, come on now. Don't make it so hard. Can I do this?
Same again.
Yeah, you actually, someone has to make a motion to accept where this is being built, to purchase the material.
I just have one more question, though.
Yeah.
Is everything the same, at the same depth of, both of them are 5 inches thick?
Yeah, so it's the same, we have them quote the same thickness, the same base foundation, the same path. I can't tell you why the one was so much higher than the other, though.
Right, yeah, and I would just ask that you get that in writing,
Okay.
because
Yeah, I can
it's
certainly-
not on their proposal, and I would hate for you to be stuck, because.
It would be unfortunate. But yeah, I can make sure that
And all that.
they clarified
45
depth on it.
PSI.
Yeah, that's
This-
the
this is
only
actually
difference
better.
I see.
Yeah, the
It's just
PSI and the
is
concrete.
the PSI and the concrete.
Yeah.
And they are also removing, so they're also moving 3 inches of subsoil, or base. That's huge when you're pouring concrete. You gotta get rid of the organic
Yeah.
from underneath it.
Well, the other one showing 73s would be used for a sub base, so I think it's just
Yeah, because we made them quote
Fiber mesh.
a foundational layer as well underneath the concrete, because otherwise, yeah, the concrete can move, or it's disintegrate.
This one actually says add $1,200 more if you want a 5-inch
Yeah,
thick. So that shears is going to be, what, 11,775 if you go to 5 inches.
Yeah, which isn't necessary.
It just,
so this is gonna be a 4-inch base then?
Yeah.
4-inch, you said, is what you requested?
Yeah, talking to planning, since it's a,
4,500, concrete's a little bit.
they said, anywhere between 4 and 12 inches.
Structural.
Because it's not going to be weight load bearing.
Right, it's not load bearing, it's not structural.
We don't have to do the 12 inches thick of concrete.
One thing about it, I hate to this one's a lot more complete. That one definitely spells out what they're doing a lot better than the other one.
I would agree.
I mean, we can go with the one that's more detailed. I mean, it's,
Why don't you just ask Cabes if they can put their estimate, their quote into more specific detail?
More detail.
Just so we've covered our back, we know everybody's on the same page as to what that money's buying. And if they can't
Yeah.
put that in writing, then why not? And how much more does it cost to get what we need to be in writing?
okay. Yeah, I can reach out to them and have them state the depth and thickness that they're going to pour to.
Everything you're comfortable with on the shears, get in writing on the Cabes.
On
And
the
if we can
Cabes.
get it at that price, then awesome. But we'll know we're all on the same page.
So at this point, then we need to push the concrete portion of this back till next month till we have specifics?
We can,
Because it's not necessary for the structure to go up, to have concrete.
we can do the whatever you guys, we do the caveat that he can hire Cades as long as.
Yeah, I don't
or
have a problem
Cabes-
with proceeding,
Yeah, hire
provided you
Cades as
just
long
make
as
sure
they meet
that,
the same standards as shears.
provided you're staying under
Give the
10 grand.
superintendent the leeway to.
Yeah, the
make
caveat of that.
Perfect.
As long as it meets that, we're good with it.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, now that's even more fun of a motion.
All right. All right, so I'll start this. So I'm proposing that we make a motion to allow our superintendent to, one, buy the materials necessary to build the structure. Two, proceed with the quote of the concrete, as long as we get it and give him the leeway to make sure it meets all the criteria that the other one does, and go with Cabes, as long as it's the same price. And then also to discuss location via locating through the proposition of locating stuff that's out there, and also speaking with the NIPA folks, so we make sure everybody is on the same page. So be the motion.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I second that motion.
I think we've discussed it pretty well. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Permits. Don't forget.
Permit, yep, I will do
Permits.
all necessary permits.
Okay, I think we're happy with the discussion. So be it.
Craig Kenworthy?
Yeah. Yes. Present.
Brian Wiseman?
Yes.
Carl English?
Yes.
Robert Durant?
Yes.
Johnny Donning?
Yes.
All right, now I think this is my last proposal, is to redo our rental fees and structure. And I've attached, working with the Budget and Personnel Committee with Brian and Tony closely, we've come up with a new set of potential rental rates to adjust to reflect the more expensive cost to operate, to maintain, to fund, and then as well as offer some discounts through non-prime rental times. Differentiated pricing is a pretty standard practice. And then as well as cleaned up some of the verbiage around exclusive use type rentals. We felt that gave a mixed signal to people that would rent exclusive use, thinking it would allow them to bar people from public areas that they don't actually get to rent. So that is the new proposed, to look at rental rates.
Are you looking for us to adopt this tonight, Jake, or to look at it and
Yeah, I would
come back?
ask to be adopted, but if it needs to take time, then
Just need to know where we gotta be.
I think the quicker we're able to start rolling it out, the easier it's going to be. The closer we get to summer, the more crazy that'll get.
Do we have a motion to adopt this?
I'll I'll motion to adopt the change in rates and fees as indicated on the rental agreement.
Second,
I
anybody?
will second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second.
Question as in due diligence as to local rates and other things like that. I'm sure we're still within reason and probably less and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, a lot of this was done based on comparison of other park systems and then other rental fees for the same type of service in the area, as well as what our cost is to simply operate and maintain them.
Okay.
And I take it the Budget and Personnel recommends we adopt this, committee? Committee
Yes.
recommends we adopt this? Okay,
Yeah, Brian, we're
All right.
looking at it pretty
You got a
close.
couple good rattles. Perfect.
this could be the easiest meeting ever. Someone knows. All right, does anybody have any questions for either Jake or our Budget and Personnel Committee who worked so diligently on this and came up with, Dave, have you seen this document?
I've seen other previous incarnations of it. Is this changed at all?
The verbiage itself hasn't changed, the only thing we changed were the rates.
Okay. If that's the case, I've seen previous ones and they were appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay,
The only thing, I did make a change regarding instead of requiring an ST 105 to prove sales tax exemption, the law changed not long ago, and I think you're now required to provide an NP, a Form NP-1. So I did update that language.
Okay.
Which is essentially, that's a form that shows that you're tax exempt, that you actually get from the Department of Revenue
Okay.
through, you have to go to your in-time account and download it. That's what's required now. The ST 105 for exempt entities is no longer acceptable.
God, I'm glad you're on this.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Makes it- that
It went-
makes it-
It all just went swoop, but I know it's right.
Let's keep this as, what we call
If it hasn't changed, we're good.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing that changed, and I researched that through the Department of Revenue, so, for the state of Indiana.
Thank you, John.
That's the only thing that changed.
All right.
Can I just make a suggestion? And I should have suggested this earlier, but before we do this, from here on, when we got contracts and things like that, that guy down on the
Oh,
end
yeah.
tends to keep us out of a lot of trouble, so please, I know we've just I kind of blindsided him with this, and I apologize for
Apologize for
that.
that, that's my bad.
But yeah, just, if we've got contracts and change the policy, please
Okay.
include the man who keeps us out of trouble.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, we got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Well, here we go again.
All right, Craig Kenworthy,
Yep.
Brian Weisner,
Yes.
Carl English,
Yes.
Robert Durantz,
Yes.
Tony Dunning.
Yes,
All right, so now I will get into the actual staff reports from the people doing the real work out there. So Jackie and I have been working closely to get our staffing and hours allotted and everything lined up for the summer season. Hiring is going okay for now. We're comfortable at the moment. Comfortable is a stretch, I wouldn't say comfortable. But Jackie and Becky are continuing to work together to kind of resurrect the archery program. It'll still be a part of camp, but we're trying to find a way that it can be still used outside of camp during the recreation season. And then we've been working on a lot of grants. Jackie, Tyler, and myself, we did get $36,350 from Lake Michigan Coastal Program to go towards programming supplies, camp supplies, as well as staffing and personnel. And we submitted another grant application. These are all old funds, so these are funds that didn't get allocated on their year's grant rounds. We submitted another application to them as well for continued support for camp, parks and schools, nature programming, environmental science, and education for $37,224. So we're waiting on that. We completed a grant to the SIA Foundation for $15,000 to go towards the playground, as well as one for Bass Pro for $15,000 to go towards the playground to help with the cost of that.
Do you know we got those, or you just submitted them?
We submitted them. We won't know for those probably until May. I think the SIA will find out in May.
Great.
We should find out on a couple the Community Foundation and Rotaries, hopefully this month, if we got those. One was for 10,000, one was for 5. So hopefully we'll find out on that. Yeah. So all the people who participated in the foot pursuit race on March 4th completed their goal race. That was a good event, that had good turnout, good support. And then Becky has also brought back the Big and Little Art class, which went away during COVID. So she is bringing programs back, which is awesome to see, as well as working with the Sunset Hill Run Club to coordinate a possible program at Brookdale, which is a big push we're trying right now, is to get some programming and some visitation out at Brookdale. And then as well as small group circuit training that is about to start here soon. And then Becky has also been assisting with the active side of Camp Fun Sets. That's all the administrative side. That's the no fun side. And then she has also been helping out a lot recently with rentals, and she's taken on a lot of responsibility with rentals. Our short staffing and the admin side of the building, she's taken on a lot of responsibilities there and helping take a lot of that load off. On programming, a lot of what we've been doing, what Tyler's been spending a lot of time and effort doing right now, in relation to camp and parks and schools and field trips, working on allocating the grant funds that we got. We were given $25,000 for supplies, so we are updating our programming supplies or camp supplies, getting all that up to standard. A lot of it was old and dilapidated and eaten by mice. And then, as far as parks to schools, in the winter there were 843 students, which was an increase of 330 students from the 2022 season. So we're growing exponentially there as well. And then, as far as the field trips, I think we're full now in April.
Yeah.
We're actually, yes, we are actually completely full on field trips. We don't have any more availability in the spring. And then I think the fall is starting to get some attention as well. And the Meet the Animals in March started back up, and even though the weather sucked, we still had 55 people that first Saturday.
Wow.
NIPA helped out tremendously with wagon rides and helped. People really enjoyed that. And we are also restarting the preschool and school-aged farm and garden hands, which was a program that had kind of fell by the wayside as well. So that is coming back and that is restarted. And we're also holding a new event, Beekeeping Education Day, with a local beekeeper. And I will say, on camp, we actually have, I think, 3 weeks where the wait list is above 30 families, and 1 week where the wait list is 41.
Wow.
So we currently have a total wait list for camp of 224 families on our wait list. And then operations. So the biggest thing is that old playground has been removed. We did get that out of the ground, so it's no longer up. And then several repairs to the existing structures, the shelters. We had to replace several sheets of the metal roofing, a lot of the 10x10s that had started to dilapidate, discolor, some were different sizes. So we got all that fixed. I also did a lot of the upkeep on the mower shed and a couple of the kiosks. And at Brink Across, they replaced a lot of that wood, and now that whole tea house has pretty much been rebuilt. It just needs stained at this point, so that'll get stained. The power to the barn has been disconnected, so as soon as I get the word from Highway that they've got the Chesterton crew available, we can work and coordinate on getting that down. And then Eric has been working diligently on the beer garden pop-up event. We're trying to grow sponsorships and additional food vendors, maybe some craft vendors as well. We're going to kind of steal an idea from NIPA, and we reached out to the Cedar Lake Farmers Market to see if they wanted to do some booths out there, and as well as in our trunk or treat event. Start getting some more expansion in some of those programming. And then the social media has been growing well. A post about the playground coming out of the ground got huge positive response. And that is the big things. Now, there's a lot more in there. I definitely recommend reading. I didn't hit nearly everything.
Anybody got any questions?
Couple questions. With the ARPA funding that we were allotted for equipment?
Yes.
What specific equipment are you targeting, and when do you hope to get it after you get the bids?
Yes, so that was actually one of the things I forgot to mention on my part. I have quotes from Riggs I got a quote for the finishing mower, which is the one that kept throwing the PTO, which went down. We had to mow an extra 60 acres with zero-turn mowers. So that's our big finishing mower for most of that, most of Sunset. The finishing mower,
Is that pulled behind a tractor? I don't-
yeah, so it pulls behind a tractor, 64 horsepower, it's 14 foot wide.
Okay.
And then 2 zero-turn mowers. I had Riggs, I've requested quotes from Riggs and Bain Welker. I'm still waiting on Bain's packet to come in to get a price comparison, so I got a fair market value on the equipment. 2 zero-turn mowers. I did a gas option and a diesel option. We don't have enough for the diesel options.
You're going to replace that gas motor 4 times before you make up for that difference.
Yeah.
I can tell you
Yeah,
that right now.
And then I did ask about UTVs. The demand and backlog on those is so high, it's a year out if we bought one. And then
What is that?
Like a Gator.
Utility.
A Gator or a Kubota.
Little gator, you drive, dump that on the back. We've got 2 or 3 of them, don't we?
Yeah, we just got one that's in real bad shape, so I was hoping to.
Well, they quit hitting trees with it.
And then a 4-wheel drive tractor, a smaller one for trail work. So I had quotes for all that. We can't get anywhere near all that for $50,000. So the priorities are the mowers, the pull behind and the 2 zero-turns. Those are the 2 biggest needs equipment-wise.
Okay, great.
And that'll cost all $50,000. So I'm waiting on Bain's to see what their price is going to do, because Riggs has a government discount and Bain has a co-op through Sourcewell discount, so we can
Did you
get.
talk to Heinold and Feller about mowers? Because they do government discount too.
Really? I didn't.
Yes, they do.
What about Burke's?
I don't know. They might. I've never dealt with them. There's a good chance.
I mean, with a discussion too, Burke's
Yeah.
as well, out on 30.
Are their extended warranties pretty similar? How far out they go, where they cover any repairs necessary?
Yeah, they've all got so many hours that they'll.
Most of them are like 1-year parts and labor. When you're under commercials, you don't get a lot.
Thank you. The other question I had was field trips and parks to schools. Do we charge a fee for that?
Park schools is free, park schools is free.
Okay.
Field trips is $2 a student for Fulton and Porter County.
Okay. And
Part of what we're going, we're on the section grant from the Lake School, by Noah, is to maybe have field trip fees covered by that grant, so potentially the 2023-24 school year, we could have field trip fees covered.
Okay. Great. And how short are we on staffing for our summer programs right now?
We just filled our 3rd naturalist position here recently. The new pay scale is helping a lot with that, and I think we need. Our roster's 5 shy on counselors right now.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine. I'm not
So
worried
I-
about staffing.
What,
The rest of it's everywhere else.
But it's, I have people like contacting me for, giving me their applications, so it's just miles different than last year.
Okay, great. Okay, so what did we increase our hourly wage to?
Camp counselors are at 12.
12 now?
Because that was
Much more competitive.
Yeah, that was competitive to OE and Rogers Lakewood
Great.
in the Y. So we had to get on that realm.
Okay, good.
the wait list, right? I mean, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, that's a huge wait list.
What can we do to lower that?
To lower, to
To-
allow more kids at camp.
Yeah, accommodate more.
Yeah, I would need, so if I was gonna bump it up to 100 kids, I would need at least, 2 or 3 more staff members to keep my ratios. Since a lot of the kids on the wait list us are in that 6 to 7-year-old range, and those ratios of staff members are about 8 to 1. Compared to my older kids, it's about 12 to 1. So if we're gonna look at the ages, but I would just need more staff.
Would the.
Really, that's all it is just more staff? I mean, probably more hair pulling for you, obviously,
Oh,
but,
yeah, selfishly,
But-
I don't wanna go up to 100, but.
well, obviously, you got a pretty full head of hair, so you're good, yeah. And you really wouldn't want to go to 100 right now? I am jealous.
I said Carl's already been through it
This
all.
season, it would be a little hard to go up to 100
Okay.
without that schedule.
But in the future,
Absolutely.
okay,
Yeah, it could rework. And the grant that we got helps a lot because we're able to, for my nature rotation or the hiking rotation for camp, I have money to spend, which is nice because normally we're trying to make something out of nothing. So having those funds really helps. And
Okay.
we're trying to get a lot of stuff that we can use year after year.
okay. Well, when this is over for this year and we get it to the fall, remind us, let us know what we can do to help. Because there's a lot of families that need some help, so I'd say we help.
Filling up within 90 minutes is
That's pretty wild.
we're still getting phone calls.
And also, ladies, thank you for the stuff you're doing, Becky with your running with the kids and doing all that stuff and helping out with the admin. We thank you for your help. We appreciate it. That's it. Oh, I haven't got a.
Tony, good?
I'm good.
All
At
right.
least that's word on the street.
No more questions, I guess.
That's all I had.
We have some people here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of guests here today. Yeah, that is it for my staff report, for our staff report, I should say. I shouldn't say mine.
It's your staff. My staff. You're our superintendent. You want to Hebron? If they're here.
Yeah,
They're not on here anymore, so we're just in.
oh, yeah, they're.
There,
Yeah,
actually,
they're,
down
yeah,
below.
I've got them after the
Where we at?
Parks Foundation.
Oh, there you go. Parks Foundation. Oh,
Yeah.
I apologize. That is my fault. Okay, this is something we haven't done in a while, so I think we're going to run through it because our committee's been quite busy, and this is not on it. So, land acquisition and development. Carl?
Been a lot of talk, a lot of activity, and it's pointing to the South County areas. We've got, with the elections that are passed, we've got a little help in the county commissioner's office. Is that commissioner, correct?
Yes, you're correct.
That is willing to help us look at getting some private funding to hopefully do a first round or a first phase at Akiki Park down in Couts, in the Couts area. Phase one, as we discussed it, there's drawings that have been out and around since 15, I think, maybe earlier. But the phase one is basically parking, trails, hopefully paved if the money's available, if minimum stoned, and then grading, storm sewers, that kind of stuff, couple of ponds, all for drainage in that area, and hopefully to get grass seed down before winter. So when spring comes, we have green space. We have a place for people to go in the South County. The end result, it's kind of been dictated kind of what is in there, but basically it's going to be used for sports activities. Hopefully baseball fields, soccer fields, that kind of stuff. Some may think that's going to be that we're going to be competing against Valpo. We are not. There's still those folks, there's a lot of folks down there that have to travel too far to do those things, and they'll be really happy not to. They won't have to use the school facilities. The schools will like that as well. Again, that may be in phase two, further down, but if there's green space, there's grass, there's cones, right? The coaches come out there with their kids and put cones down and do all those kinds of things. We haven't, from the original drawings and the original budgets we had, there were dollar amounts put on things and from time and space, we've added 15 to 20%, and we're hoping to get together about $3 million for the Phase 1 portion of this. Now, that's a big ask, it's a big want, but if what we've done in the past is nothing, we're gonna do something. If we get grass there, a big area of grass for people to go play, that'd be really awesome. So I'm making a proposal this evening that we start looking to get private funding to begin Phase 1 of Akiki Park. Questions?
You have a second? You made a motion?
I have made a
second that.
motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any
Discussion, questions?
Questions? What?
Well, I guess for the audience here, if you're not sure where Aukiki is it about 65 acres?
It's
Yes.
60, well, 65, about's a good number.
65
65 is a good number.
Located just north of Couts on Highway 49 on the west side of the road. We've had that land for a long time, looking to build a park that will give South County some access to county parks. And Phase 1 would be a great start towards that. And if Phase 1 could include those trails that circumvent the park, you would immediately have an attraction that would give people a place to walk and to run, take their, baby carriages out and have a place to take their family. I think even Phase 1 would be a development for South County. that
Absolutely.
They don't have anything. It'd be a really great start.
Yeah.
And to add on to, I'm sorry if you weren't done.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna add on to that because the plans that we have are very modular. Once we get Phase 1 completed, it's adaptable. If somebody wants to come in and lacrosse field or a pickleball court or something, if they have the funding, they wanna come in and do it, we have the space to be able to do that and move things around. And if it's 6 baseball fields we need and 2 softball or vice versa, we're able to do that because once we get Phase 1 done, then we're ready to go.
It will be a beautifully green piece of canvas. Yes, ma'am.
I don't normally talk, but for the trails, I will advocate for paving because you can at least maybe plow that in the
Right.
wintertime, like Fairgrounds Park. And if it's stone and stuff like that,
A little harder to do.
I wouldn't
Agreed.
want to be with a jogging stroller on it.
Agreed.
And I've never rode the jogging stroller, no, I had one time, on pavement, and it's hard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that
On stone.
gravel.
Agreed.
100%, Becky.
Agreed.
Yeah, and
Becky, the object is to get it paved.
Yes.
I'm a huge proponent of just accessibility. I think we very much so need something that families can come that are all different disability levels of disability. I hope to someday see people with their children in wheelchairs able to go out there and actually walk the trails and have a substantial trail system out there that they can use for that. The rest of it, I'm a little, I'm not quite there yet, but the trails, especially paved trails, are something I support 100%.
And what was it, 2.5 miles of paved trails once it
Something
was
like that,
done?
when it's
I
all done.
believe.
Yeah, and if-
The way it's originally drawn up, and we intend to try to stick to the footprint of that original, of all the original stuff, so.
The aim would be to have a wide variety of activities, from the trails for walking and running, the big retention ponds, you could stock those for fishing. You could have, some active components, some fields for picnics and flying kites, potentially pickleball, athletic fields for the different sports in the south that they just don't have, soccer fields. It would really serve a lot of purposes for South County.
It's the idea and the hope is build it and they will come. And we've seen it too many times, right? So we know that it's a real good possibility. But at this point, it's on the park board and it's on the public to make sure to try to get the funds together to do just that. So that's what we are proposing.
I don't think it'll come as any, yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
Well, in talking about making it user-friendly, I think there's a good senior citizen center down in other things that might make it attractive to the seniors down there. Don't always have the transportation to come all the way up.
Up in Valpo, right.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it has to serve all ages, has to
Yes.
serve all ability levels. I think that's what's important in a county park.
I think that's the plan. I mean, I think everybody sitting up here knows what I think of this, so I don't want to beat my lips too much, but I've worked on this a long time, and I am so happy to see finally off of square one, because I don't even think we've been up to the plate. And we
Can't
finally
start
got
till
this,
we start, and
so-
we're proposing to start.
We're gonna start.
The idea, once it's approved by this board this evening, is to, we have some signage that we've come up with, so people have an idea what's going on. There'll be movement, people will see things going on. I don't know if anybody's here from the paper tonight, but sometimes they put stuff in the paper after our meetings. Yeah, so with that being said, I think I've beaten it up enough, so.
We can have our marketing director. put a thing in. But yeah, it's, like I said, you guys have all said exactly what this is. It's an all-inclusive park, built for the community, designed by the community. I was part of this when it started. We held multiple meetings with community members and talked to, I found some old emails from some of the elected officials that are no longer there anymore. That's, as we went through to design this. So I'm giddy, honestly. If we can get this thing done, I don't know what. It'll make me smile for a long time. And I'll even plant some trees. I'll buy 20 trees when we get this thing done.
Look at that.
I will say that. I'll buy 20 trees. You write that down.
Write it down.
It's in the notes now.
So, okay, we have a motion, a second, we had a discussion.
Any more discussion, any more questions?
Any more questions, concerns? Jake, let's start with you.
All right. Craig Kinley,
Yes.
Brian Wiseman,
Absolutely.
Carl English,
Absolutely.
Robert Durance,
Yes.
Tony Dunning.
Can I just confirm, we're just talking about phase one here, right?
Yes, phase
Yes.
one.
Phase one is phase one. We are raising money to do phase one. Guys, well, rubber's gonna hit the road now, guys. Thank you. Hey, guys, seriously, thank you, everyone, for this. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to.
Yes, sir.
I
Okay.
apologize.
Happy
Have a
Easter.
blessed Easter.
You have a
You as
blessed
well,
Easter.
thanks, David.
I know the Budget and Personnel Committee's done some work. Do we have a quick report from them, where we're at with everything?
No, we did a lot of work, mostly on the rental contracts and stuff like that. We looked over the budgets with Jake and his staff in the last month or so, and I think we've pretty much addressed everything that we went over. Tony, you have anything that I missed?
I have nothing to add. I think the fact, you're way ahead of the game, and I appreciate that from a budgeting standpoint, because I have a feeling you're gonna have to hit the ground running when they finally get around to opening that up, which probably, it won't be for a while. But it's nice and I appreciate your willingness to look ahead and plan ahead and be prepared. And lots of hard work on that rental agreement, so I appreciate that as well.
I appreciate all the help and support. It was, a lot of work went into that. Nice.
Well done. Marketing and education, do you guys have anything? I know you guys have some, we're talking new signage. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. The new signage, yes, so our hope going forward is to have new and improved signage at our county parks. So we have the ability to brand who we are and set ourselves apart from other park systems in the county. And we'd like to make investments in that at our, currently the parks that are most used. So that is an aim of ours, and we're excited about that.
Standardized signing.
Oh, yeah. Standardized.
Uniform signage across the board.
signage.
Like McDonald's, they all look alike.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Not all.
No. And thank you guys for doing that. You guys are doing a great job. Maintenance, anything, Carl, Brian? Anything?
Carl.
I don't, no,
Nothing? Okay.
we've been doing the other,
Much
working the
covered
other
all that,
side,
too.
so.
Okay. All right, well, all right, that brings us to NIPA. NIPA?
I'm Deb Armstrong, I'm the treasurer of NIPA. If you could take those, this is our most recent newsletter and flyers for our upcoming show. wanted to invite you all, we're having a picnic on June 10th, it's a Saturday, so I invite you all to come to that. We're excited about the upcoming show. We're having Massey Harris, which is probably a lesser-known brand than John Deere or International, but we have a regional show that's at Indiana Collectors Group. So we've been working on getting more regional and national shows to come hold their annual event at our show. Next year is the national show, is the Rumley Expo, which if you know anything about Rumley's or LaPorte County, it's a pretty big deal. So we're excited about that. We've got on the newsletter scheduled work days. We have the second Saturday of each month, weather permitting, and we're going to start to work on the corn crib and the chicken
coop?
Chicken coop. Yeah, we're going to do some work on that.
Thank you, it
As
needs it.
well as, what else? The nipple shop, I think, still needs some work. And, let's see. This year we'll be planting some sugar beets because interestingly enough, Matt Houghton has gotten a piece of equipment, it's a sugar beet harvester that used to belong to the Urschel family, and they'd like to see that used. So we're gonna try a field of sugar beets. With a small field. So we've got winter wheat we planted last fall, and we'll probably harvest that mid-July, the hottest day. We picked the hottest day of July.
Yeah, it's just
Around
normal,
July
right?
4th,
Yeah, that's normal.
So we might, we'll
Just like
notify
doing hay,
Clark,
right?
so-
Hot day.
That'll be a demonstration. We do that with antique equipment. Let's see. Others, we're partnering again with the Cedar Lake Farmers Market. They've been a great help to get people in our gate and promoting our event and making it a more well-rounded family event where we have a lot more kids and families coming. We're doing the flea market again. Other partners include with the IGRS. They usually are open the weekend of our show, and so that's been fun to have another spot to send people to. Trains and tractors kind of go together. Let's see, we'll do our Education Day again and Senior Day on Friday of our show. We're reaching out to local schools and senior centers, so we have to have some good attendance for that. And Joy had mentioned last time that we got, one of our members had passed away last year. We had quite a bit, large donation from their family to our club, and so we're starting a scholarship fund with the 4-H group.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
and we also have some extra money. We want to build some sort of memorial bench, probably on the backside of the nipple shop, and we'll talk to the park before we do that, but we're thinking of maybe a park patio structure. Jake, one of our board members, does landscaping, so maybe a permanent structure that would be a bench, and we might even do memorial bricks for other members who passed, so something like that. But we'll run that by you as we formulate that. So really to honor, we have had a lot of older members that have come through, and Jarnakees, Jarnakees were a lot of local county people. So I think that's about it. Again, all the dates are here, upcoming dates on the newsletter. So,
Thank you, Deb.
see it next meeting.
Yeah,
You guys have any questions? Aaron's here. It's our vice president. So.
That's great. Thank you.
thank you. Tell Drew we said hi.
All right, then we're excited. I'm excited about that pavilion because always these groups that we invite for our to be our feature, they usually have a club,
Yeah.
and they like to have a little more formal space to have their
Yeah.
hub of
Right.
operations.
Yeah.
Last year we used the grain bin, and the year before where we let them display their memorabilia from their club. So it's I think it'd be a good addition. We'll take a look at that.
Okay. All right, thanks. I don't think anybody's here from the railroad. I don't see anybody. Parks Foundation? Gotta put these guys up farther.
Well, as Jake said, there's been a flurry of activity with grants over the last a month and a half, and as he told you, the Community Foundation, we should know, whatever their board meeting is this month is when they'll vote on the grants. Valpo Rotary grant is in, it's $5,000. And as you said, Subaru and Bass Pro, so those are the ones that we've been working with them. And then some of those, it has to come from the foundation if they need a 501c3 to give, and so that information's been going back and forth, and they've all made their deadlines, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
We also right now are working with the department for a NIPSCO grant for $5,000, an environmental grant that would help restore the gardens at Brinkley Cross. Give us some money to do that, so we're hopefully going to be able to get that. It goes without saying that we're thrilled tonight that with the Akiki project. That's in our 5-year plan as it is in yours, so whatever the foundation can do to help support those efforts to raise that money, we will absolutely.
Thank you, Sharon.
So, let's go, as you said.
Let's build it, they will come.
Yes. And the last thing is, we talked with Jake, every year, Dr. McAfee, Animal Hospital, and Wise Sporting Goods has done a Take a Kid Fishing Day in August. And they did that as part of the United Way Day of Caring, but United Way is changing their, whatever they're doing, Day of Caring. And so as a Park Foundation, we talked with Jake about maybe opening up that to the kids who go to summer camp. And it's a great event. It's, Dr. McAfee has a stock pond, so every kid catches 5 or 6 fish.
It was fun. I volunteered at it last year.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. They got a
And
neat place.
Bass Pro provided new fishing rods for all the kids.
Oh,
So it'll be
it's
40
outstanding.
kids, some of those may be for the Boys and Girls Club, but then also kids who could come from
Yeah.
summer camp. So we're excited about that, and with the foundation involved, we have our liability coverage. There are Larry and Mike recruit fishermen from some of the fishing groups, so that almost every kid, it's almost one-on-one or 1 to every 2 kids. So they'll have somebody that can help mentor them so they make sure they catch fish. And,
You should reach out to Sylvia Graham. She's a
right,
champion
Bass
fisherwoman. She was a national champion Bass Pro.
Yeah.
She
Was she really?
She
Yeah,
was,
she was.
absolutely. She was
Yeah.
like a world champion
We'll
fisherwoman.
be
It's
certainly
amazing.
invited.
Yeah.
That day right now is for August 5th. All the kids will get a T-shirt with all, it'll have Parks Department and it'll say Take Your Kid Fishing. So it's a great day. And the kids all get trophies, little trophies, but then they also give some for smallest fish, biggest fish, and it's all catch and release. And then also for sportsmanship, so they are able to, there's always some kid that'll help another kid, and so it's a great day, so you'll all be invited to come and be a mentor to the kids too.
It's as much fun for the volunteers as it is for the kids,
Yeah,
believe me,
it
it's a
is.
great time.
Yeah.
Did you say?
I had a
date?
blast.
August 5th,
5, okay.
yeah, and then it ends the day with, they have a picnic with hot dogs. And that's about it right now.
Thank you.
Any questions for Sharon, anyone? Quick, nope.
Thank you, Sharon.
Well, we've kept you guys around long enough. Hebron, you're here to see us.
Hi, Don.
How you doing?
Apologize for the long wait.
Thank you for hearing from us
Should
here.
have moved you up. Are your meetings as fun as our meetings?
Our meetings last about 3 hours.
So they are.
Can I please not come to yours?
So we're still low in the timeline right now.
That's a little information on,
Okay.
kind of representing a few hats here. I'd like to introduce Linda Brebner. She's our Park Board President for Hebron. I'm the Vice President of the Hebron Park Board. Paul Reed, Mitch Marloga are members of the Friends of the Veterans Memorial Parkway, which I am also a member of. Rick Stahlbaum is our volunteer botanist and everything, that we plant trees all along everything
Okay.
in Hebron that we can plant. Glad you're talking about trails, because that's one of the main goals that I'm here for. Here to ask that, I'm not sure if you're aware of the Great American Rail Trail. Great American Rail Trail will run from Washington DC to Washington State. That picture there is one of the first miles that we got built here in Porter County. We were one of the ones to get the first next level trail grants. Mitch and Paul and all of us are working on World War I and World War II Memorial in Crown Point. The Middle East Memorial will go in Hebron, and we're working to get the trails built
From Crown Point to
across,
Hebron.
across Porter County. And that's why I'm here. We're going to need your help also. I'm glad to hear that Couts is finally going to, the park in Couts is finally going to start. It's been watching that for many years here. As a councilman from Hebron, I was a councilman there. And we were hoping to get property at the same time across from the bowling alley for you guys back then, and that didn't
Oh, I
work
remember
out.
that. Yeah, that was when it, yeah.
Right, but you were donated property right behind my house, in fact,
Okay, that's that.
right now that you have for a county park.
That's the foundations, but yes.
Foundation.
Yep, the foundation has.
Yeah.
So we're doing a park board survey right now, asking about different things for Hebron, and we'll see what the suggestions are for that. One of the thoughts is a dog park in that area. You will be right, would be part of the trailhead for our Veterans Trail. So that would be when people are walking their dogs and they, believe me, you say they build it and they will come.
They do.
We built the mile, and that trail is being used constantly at this point in time. The Town Council of Hebron is working with us they're going to do a big water main expansion or replacement through the older part of town, which will be helping us connect the trail back out to Route 8. We've acquired property on the other side of Route 8, the railroad property. Runs to our sewer plant, to the ditch there. And then once we get to that point, which we already have those pieces of property, and if we can get the trail built through there, this is where we're going to need your help. Lake County works with us, and if Mitch could come on up a little bit. Lake County works with us, Lake County Parks Department works with us and is acquiring property, railroad right-of-ways throughout Lake County right now. We've basically acquired property to Iowa Street at this point in time in Lake County. And they're working that way. I've asked them to work from County Line Road, which is where our trail ends, back to Leroy so that we can connect our Korean War Memorial with us. And that would be about a 5-mile trail at that point in time. But we're going to need your help to get through the rest of the Porter County.
Hebron East.
Yep, Hebron East, from Hebron East. Justin Keel, who is a LaPorte County councilman from La Crosse, is working hard to come back the other way and work towards Couts. Robert Forrester from Couts has acquired a piece of property in Couts. We have little dots right now. You folks are the important cog in the wheel that we need to try to get on board and work with us or help us. We're going to try to build a group there. We're a 501c3 organization, the Friends of the Veterans Memorial Parkway.
Is there an old unused rail bed?
Yes. Yes, yeah. I'm gonna turn this over a little bit over to Mitch at this point because Mitch is our trail guy. So.
He's Northwest Indiana's trail guy, isn't he?
Yes.
I don't think I'm missing that.
Good evening, thank you for your time. As Don mentioned, I'm with the Veterans Memorial Parkway. I also work with Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. That's who pays me. I am the active transportation manager. I've been there for 20 years, and I've been proud of bringing trails throughout our region. And one of the most important initiatives we have is finishing the Great American Rail Trail and the American Discovery Trail. They kind of parallel each other. And he's talking about the very route of the Veterans Memorial that goes into Crown Point. And we've done quite a bit of work in Lake County on that. We have most of it funded right now and most of it built. We're waiting for Lake County Parks to continue to purchase land from Crown Point East into Hebron, but we have some pretty good ideas on how that's going to happen. It doesn't hurt that the railroad right-of-way is along a state highway there, so it makes it a little easier. The challenge is from Hebron, East, Porter, and LaPorte counties. We have a lot of energy on the Great American going from La Crosse down to North Judson and beyond. North Judson has the Prairie Trails Group. They have been very successful in constructing a trail from North Judson to Ora at this point, and they're continuing to move east.
This is what we're.
We have La Crosse and North Judson combining to work on a potential trail connecting their communities along the old railroad right-of-way and along the existing excursion right-of-way through there. That leaves, as Don had mentioned, the area between La Crosse and Hebron. We have two routes that can be utilized here. And again, Jake's here, and these are things that we can look at. We've had county engineers, and I've been looking at this project for many years, and it is challenging. You brought up a question about the railroad right-of-way. There is. It's the old Pennsylvania Railroad. It exists a quarter mile south of State Road 8 between the two communities. Most of it is still intact. However, some of it has been farmed over. We're not sure if they even own it. We know that the Pensy, over the years, has been a very difficult corridor to purchase. That's why it's taken over 20 years for Lake County Parks to buy it from Crown Point to Hebron. At one point, their attorney had amassed over 130 landowner interests within those 9 miles. 130. Because it got abandoned and everyone went to town. Now, we're not sure if that happened going between Hebron and La Crosse, but we're pretty sure that a lot of those farmers who farmed over that ballast, who actually had the money to do it and the energy to do it, they may not own any of it, but it could be reverted to them too. So I'm not a lawyer, I'm just saying that that's a possibility. What we're trying to do, and what Don would like to do, and what NERC would like to help out, not only Don and Porter County government as well, is make this work. This is a critical link in the American Discovery Trail, the national system from Washington to Washington, D.C. And over half of it is built, and over half Indiana is built. We have about 200 some miles in Indiana, half of it's built. We have over 3,700 miles in the United States, and over half of it's built. So there's a lot of energy. The Rails to Trails Conservancy, a very well-funded organization nationally, is a huge champion of this route. And any community, any county entity, any municipal entity that decides they want to champion this, they're going to get behind them and help find money for this project. Now, what does that mean? There are a lot of funding avenues out there. The state has put out Next Level Trails, as you may have heard of. It has funded many different projects in our region. We at NERC give money out. We do that once in a while. And we also have some national programs as well that the Rails to Trails Conservancy can help bring to bear. Private foundations, national foundations can be brought to bear on this project, again, if the will is there. One thing I will say, just as a matter of a soapbox, it has never been money. It has always been the will. If the will is there, the project gets done, no matter what. I have seen some amazing projects happen because the will is there. North Judson is that example. Just out there, isolated segment, but they have incredible energy and they made it happen. The same thing could happen here in Porter County, and you can have a very strong corridor going from Hebron to La Crosse. It's all ready to go. Yes, it might be a bit of a challenge. We could either use the old railroad right-of-way, or if we have to, run along State Route 8. It is not the most attractive option, but it gets it done. But discussions should begin on this sooner than later, because who knows how much of that right-of-way will be farmed eventually. As far as I know, from the aerial maps that I see on Google Earth, most of the ditches are bridged still. Now, these were pretty heavy bridges for railroad locomotives, so they could probably be easily converted into paths. So you're not talking a lot about bridges down there, but you are talking a lot about land acquisition and probably bringing back some of this farmland back to a trail if that's possible, but maintaining access for the farmers, making sure that they can get to their crops.
Would this trail be dividing farmland?
Yes, it would in some cases,
So it could make it difficult for some farmers.
Could make accesses could be very well planned into the whole trail system.
Yeah, obviously, their first concern will be the loss of revenue from that corridor, and there would have to be, again, if they own it. This is where it gets really murky, but if they own it, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? So if they own that corridor, you have to amass that, and you're going to have to purchase that accordingly. But as part of the negotiations, they would have access across the trail to make it work, and that happens throughout the country. We have a lot of trails in Indiana, go through a lot of rural areas, and they maintain tractors and so forth, and it works out just fine. So no worries on that. But again, you're going to have people that are going to be yay or nay on this, and they're going to be very strong. I've seen them all. I have a bittersweet profession. They all hate me on one end, and they all love me when it's done. So I always kind of stick around for the long view, and I know all of you, from what I've heard tonight, you understand what trails do, what the powers that they provide for communities and the quality of life benefits. It's a no-brainer. And it's great to see Couts on board, Bob Forrester. I talk to him quite often. He is a NERC commissioner, and it's great to see that they're on board with their, like, eighth of a mile segment, but they're really jazzed for it. So love to have all of you on board, and just thank you for the time. And I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions as well.
What do you need from us? I guess is what I'm kind of curious.
That brought me here, but I guess-
No, I'm just curious. I mean, are you looking for help with grants? Are you looking
Yes,
with
help.
us to go,
Basically-
we're all for this?
Basically, once, I can keep going to Hebron. As I say, I was a councilman in Hebron when I first applied for the Next Level Trail Grant. We received that. We got that in. Councilmen in Hebron are pro. I can guarantee that they will do everything to apply for grants or anything else to finish anything in Hebron itself. Once we go outside of that boundary,
Porter County.
let's be honest. They're done. Now it's Porter County.
Right.
I sit on the County Economic Development Commission.
Now,
I've brought this up at our meeting last month, that we need assistance with this, and we need South County, and thank God you were already talking about that tonight. I really, that makes me feel good that we're finally
Looking
gonna
south.
say it, we're finally gonna,
Yeah.
okay?
we're taking a small bite of a big elephant.
Exactly,
That's what we're
exactly.
doing.
So, kudos. But we need your help to get this trail through. Our governor has put tons of money behind this thing. There's grants out there. Acquiring the land is the thing.
With that land acquisition and grant application, are you envisioning that going through the Porter County Parks because it's Porter
Exactly.
County? Is-
Craig Zanstra from Lake County, okay? I would recommend that Jake contact Craig Zanstra from Lake County Parks. He sits on our Friends of the Veterans Memorial Parkway Board, and he is in charge of acquiring from Lake County properties. If Jake and him get together, Craig will share the information that Craig can share with him and help you get on the road. I know you're brand new here and getting started. You come down to Hebron anytime you want. We'll show you around and we'll
He
take.
hasn't just gotten started. He has, he's sprinting.
He's sprinting,
Yeah.
so.
And we're going to wear them out.
We're
gonna
getting
wear 'em out
a
already,
lot
so-
done in a hurry.
No, but please, come down and see us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take you for a ride. You know, that's, we're doing, we're
Don, if
trying
I'm
to
not
do-
mistaken, and Jake, you can confirm this, is this a portion of our 5-year master plan was envisioning a trail like this connecting east and west, not just Dunes to Kankakee?
I think it's Kankakee, but I don't,
Well, if you'll notice on that map, the Dunes Kankakee and this trail
they hit.
connect.
Yeah, I don't, this trail specifically, no, but something to that effect.
American Rail Trail was announced only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fresh. And to answer your question about what we are looking for, what I have discovered over time is it's about one-on-one relationships.
Yep.
All right,
There are people that own that land down here that probably everyone in this room may know.
yeah.
And it's going to take that type of one-on-one relationship to at least ask them their interest. We have to, this is not an overnight thing. This is going to take years. We understand it. It's a 15-mile corridor. A trail goes for $200,000 to $500,000 a mile.
Right.
And that's before right-of-way costs. So we want to see if there are friendlies out there and who aren't friendlies, and we have to gauge that. And then we're just got to figure out where the trail goes and how we're going to make it work. But at least we can have the support, and Don and Hebron and all can have the support from the front end, from the county. That's a big help.
I just have, this is not quite, you're more into this thing than I am, but the Cal Trail.
Yes.
And the county seems very, very invested in that right now,
Right.
to get that done. I mean, you deal with the county officials, and do you see them saying this is too much at one time, or, I'm just, this is an opinion that you don't probably, but, I mean, I'm all for this,
Oh, yeah.
but we've got this going here, this going there, where,
The Cal Trail is done.
Okay.
It's funded. It's
Okay,
been
that's-
funded.
all
So
right.
that they received the Next Level Trail Grant a couple of years ago, actually last month, a couple of years ago for 2.8.
Yeah.
No, 5 million. It was a big
Is it
one.
five?
For the,
Okay.
So
for
they're
the,
paving the
for the
Cal
Cal.
okay.
That's awesome. For the Cal Trail.
Yes.
That's
It'll be
awesome.
a 9-mile paved system. They're finally going to lift it out of the water.
And it's all gonna connect.
It's all going to connect. And
We get a
that's a
pilot.
great question. And
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I'll tell
we
you,
maintain
this
it.
is why, this is actually good timing. Don and I did not collude on this ahead of time. Don's always been a big, I've been a big fan too, but you're right, a lot of energy went to the Cal
Yeah.
Trail, but now that's kind of done.
Okay.
That's funded. Now let's focus here at the national route still. And again, you have a lot of energy that can help out.
Okay, I was just, we got, so it is done, funded, and that, so this would be the next
I
step.
will, I will speak for myself, because I am part of the Land and Acquisition Committee. I'm in. I've used those trails. I'm in. So if Jake needs help, if we need to go talk to farmers, let's go talk to farmers.
Probably degrees of separation might be, hey, Farmer Bob, I know him, go there and talk to him, who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to help you out.
And we are trying to build a group down in south, and that's part of we're doing a master plan survey, for 5-year plan, our new 5-year plan for our Parks Department. And we've asked questions in there of people that are willing to join us in a group that will come under the umbrella of the Friends of the Veterans Memorial Parkway, so that we don't have to go through the 501c3 process again. We'll form a group to be able to work that conjunction from
South
Hebron
County,
to Couts.
South County,
along with-
NERC.
We will burn the candle on both ends to get this thing done, so.
Well, I am for this. Jake, your plate's full, and it's gonna be full in about 6 weeks, obviously.
There's always room.
But I would like to make a motion to the board that we do what we can to help out these folks, so we can all benefit from more stuff in South County.
I'll second that motion.
Second.
Questions?
No, my only concern is Jake and his very meager staff is like completely tapped out to the point where we are limited in what we can maintain on our own properties right now because of the lack of manpower. I think it's important that we keep that at the forefront, because we still, as much as I love the idea, a huge supporter of the veterans, and having that Veteran Memorial Trail, I think is an amazing thing. But he can't be the one to carry this over the finish line.
And again,
No.
we're not looking to we won't be putting any trails in tomorrow. So this is,
Right.
again, part of a 5-year planning down the road. but
Absolutely.
well noted, because, again, with the addition of Aki Key, that same situation is going to have to be addressed. So,
Absolutely.
And I'll
Well,
put it
duly
out
noted.
there, I formally retired a year ago after 51 years.
so now you got all your time to donate.
I've got
to
my
that.
time, and I'm more than willing to work with Jake and help and do whatever Jake needs to help to assist if you're short-staffed. I shouldn't do this because I'm gonna get shot by a whole bunch of other people.
She's going, he doesn't
I'm more
know.
than willing to step forward and help.
And NERC this is what we live for.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
here to secure our clients, and we're here to help you.
It's just mattering, my goal, my thought process was, let's manage the
Maintenance.
expectations for what he can actually
Oh,
do.
yeah. Well, he'll
And,
tell
you
me,
know,
I'm sure.
I think for us,
Return my calls after a while. That's what they
it's
usually
low-hanging
do.
fruit from an
They
idea
disappear
of,
after
this
a
is
while.
something that we'd like to do, and absolutely, it's obviously something that's, in many ways, something we'd like to do. It's just like, how much from a manpower standpoint, can you really do at this point?
And I'm gonna
They
try to go
got
before the
this.
commissioners again. The commissioners did step forward with the Middle East Memorial. They joined us financially they donated money towards our engineering for the Middle East Memorial already. That was about a year ago. So the commissioners are aware of what I'm pushing and we're pushing as a group to get these trails built and get things done. And
He has a question.
yep,
Well, 2 points. The foundation, the Parks Foundation
Yes.
owns those few acres, the Mullen family brothers who gave that
Right.
as a donation. And so the reason we accepted it was because knowing that there was going to be a trailhead there at some point.
Yep.
And so the property makes sense to take. We've talked about maybe putting some benches and maybe a little shelter or something there, just so that if people were on the trail, if they wanted to sit down, if they wanted to take a break. I don't know about a farm park, and it's not very, or a dog park, that would have to be up, because that would have to be run by you guys. So, but, you know, so we're aware of that, and we support these efforts. I don't know, I haven't seen the map, but the 65 acres of Kiki, is there any way that could be part of the trail, because you've already got.
It's probably, I would say Kiki's probably, if they're talking about the old railroad bed, it's about 1.25 miles, 1.5 miles maybe up from there, the south end of Akiki. Because the old railroad bed ran right through the middle of Couts.
Could you connect it so
Could you connect it, because
accessibility?
you've already got the land.
Through the city
Well,
account
part of
is a
that-
possibility.
Part of that
City
connection
accounts,
would be, it sits right on the dunes,
It's the
or the
Kankakee Trail.
trail that goes all the way to the dunes.
That's
Up
the
that.
vision. You got it, Sharon.
So it would hit that, and ideally, if Kiki would get built, and hopefully it will, there'll be a sidewalk, an 8-foot sidewalk that goes all the way back into Couts, which connects them into there.
to this trail.
Then you're only filling in Couts.
Very
At that
small
point, you're
amount.
probably filling in
A mile?
a mile maybe of sidewalk, and
Nerve
there's
State,
been money given too.
you know, these next level grants could help fund at least part of Kiki, because if.
Sure.
that-
If it's connected, you
if they
bet.
go up That 1/4 mile or so, that 1/2 mile and a half, that might be a way to get money to develop part of Kiki
Yeah.
and get you that much farther east.
And north.
No, and with the foundation, with the Mullins property, the town of Hebron has a need, and I kind of approached Jake on that. Town of Hebron has 800 new homes coming in. We're going to have to place a new water tower, another water tower. And guess where that site is? On the Mullins property. The most ideal place for that water tower is on the Mullins property. We would like to be able to have a conversation and get started with a conversation. We're doing engineering right now, we're doing negotiations with developers and all of that right now. We would need approximately an acre of that 2 acres to put the water tower on. We're looking at some property that we think is connected to the back end of that property that the town owns, that maybe we could do a swap into the woods that's behind there with the foundation or whatever for land. Or we need to negotiate with you on working together to put that water tower in, and that's why we thought whatever we could come up with for a county park and the rest of that area around the water tower. We have a huge need. We have to put a 250,000 gallon water tower in to support this new growth.
Well, we'd like to be good neighbors. I'll just say that.
That's right.
Beyond the negotiations from there.
We're gonna need your help.
there. Yeah, that's it.
The town of Hebron's gonna need your help.
Yeah, 'cause
I
it's Palm Springs,
wear multiple hats. I'm sorry, I speak of different.
I'm gonna be honest with you, that idea is not unheard of.
Okay.
Because the town of Couts wants to sink a well in the middle of Akiki.
Well, I knew that from years ago. One of the wells was gonna go into the park there.
And I don't know if they still do, but they did when this was done originally. They've done the borings and everything for it.
Always ready to talk.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, certainly. Well, if government gets along, it's a great thing.
I appreciate you guys hearing us out. I'm begging you, we need your help.
Oh, we made a motion, we got a second. Hey, guys, we got a vote to make.
Yes, we do.
Before we run away.
And we won't nowhere.
All right, Jake,
Are we voting to?
We're voting to
advance this-
support.
Advance this conversation?
Yeah,
and
advance this
support the effort?
conversation and give our support as best we
Assistance.
can to this. Even if it's like, hey, we like the idea. And you want to. Even if it's like, do you guys have the support of the county park board?
I
And
love
you
the
can say
vision.
yes.
I love the vision,
So-
without question.
So yes, you have.
All right, ready? Craig Kenworthy,
Yes.
Brian Wiseman,
Yes.
Carl English,
Yes.
Robert Durance,
Yes.
Tony Dunning.
Yes.
I kind of like this new park board. I haven't voted
Thank
no
you
in a
very
long
much, I
time.
really,
Thank you,
we
Don.
really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your efforts.
Thank you, Don.
Great to see you, Don.
Kind of exciting. All right, this leads us to, and I don't think any of the public is here to come. Oh, Gab.
Yeah, we'll talk to George.
Greg Kenworthy from Mr. Drew Armstrong. He says congratulations to Park Board and Craig, I'm wishing you the hockey key. Thanks, Craig, for being pitbull and all the key on.
Tells you thank you. All right, with that, I adjourn our April meeting. About Porter County Park Board. Thanks for everybody coming, and everybody have a great night.
A fruitful night.
I voted no all the time. I'm trying to think of the last thing I voted.